Welcome to the pilot first episode of ConkCast. I will be reading a brief history according to Conky today, a part of that. Some of it will be spoken about in more depth later, but I will start today and we'll see how it goes. A brief history according to Conky. My grandmother, Viola Billings, died in November 1979. We were told by the executors that the property would have to be sold to pay the inheritance tax. Daddy was alive at the time, and he suggested to us, that the property could be rented to pay the taxes. The inheritance tax could be paid out of the stocks, which totaled $180,000, and the inheritance tax was only $112,000, so we would even have money left over after paying the tax. Then, by renting out the white cottage, red cottage, etc., we could raise enough money to pay the yearly taxes. The executors told us we couldn't use the stock money to pay the inheritance tax, which was a lie. We wanted to prove to them that the farm could be self-supporting, so we decided to empty the main house for rent to prove that we could manage the farm. I remember having a renter lined up to move in, and we had a lot of sorting and packing to do before anyone could move in. So the three of us, Claudia, my oldest sister, me, and Lisa, the youngest, try to begin dividing up the contents of the main house. It was a huge undertaking. Tensions flared, and at one point there was a fight. The fight was over Lisa not pulling her weight. Lisa called her asshole boyfriend Jimmy Miller. Yes, the same Jimmy Miller that produced Sticky Fingers and Blind Faith. Yes, he was an asshole. I'm talking about these people because they're dead. Everyone else's names will be changed to protect the living. All right, so Jimmy Miller came out to save her from the mean, demanding sisters. So they go out to dinner at the Printer's Devil. Meanwhile, the main house needs to be packed and emptied in less than 2 days. Claudia and I keep working. I don't remember what day of the week it was, but it was late, around midnight, when we get a call from Jimmy saying if we were really good sisters, we'd come and get Lisa out of jail. Jail? He comes out to protect her from us, and she ends up in jail. We called the precinct that she was in, and we were told there was nothing we could do until tomorrow. So we went back to packing. The phone rings again, and it's Jimmy reaming us out about not getting her. So we go to the jail, only to be told we can't get her out till tomorrow. So we go home. Eventually, we do rent the house, only to have the executors cancel our renter's contract and enter into a full sale of our property against our wishes. Enter a long, lengthy lawsuit. We still wanted to rent the main house, and we were having trouble finding a tenant when Lisa says she found someone, Al, her newest boyfriend. At the time, I was already living in the barn because I found it close to impossible living in the main house with both sisters. Even the 25-room mansion was too small for the three of us. Lisa had already chosen to move in with Al. She wasn't thrown off the farm or even asked to leave. Claudia was still living in the main house, and Lisa said Al wouldn't pay rent until Claudia vacated the house. So Claudia ends up moving into my living room so that Al can begin paying $5,000 a month rent. I believe he only paid 2 or 3 months rent. No one ever moved in. Lisa used the mansion, 25-room house, as a closet. And because no one was actually in the house, in the middle of the winter when the heat ran out, no one knew and all the pipes burst. We had a tenant in the red cottage who sold heating systems, and there was a girl at work who was complaining about her rental situation. So I put 2 and 2 together and fixed up one section of the main house to rent. As the money came in, it was decided to try and fix up more of the house. I asked for help, and Lisa gave me the number of a plumber that Al had used at his factory. With the furnace being supplied by the red cottage tenant and Al's plumber, another section of the house was hooked up. It took 5 years and over $15,000 to reinstall the heat plumbing that got destroyed by Lisa and Al's negligence. Lisa has always held me responsible for destroying the integrity of the house due to the poor plumbing installation that was done by her recommended plumber. We ended up in court for about 15 years, going through a lengthy trial and a very long wait for a verdict, which we finally won. Now, after the win, one would think we would team up again to get compensation from the executors. for our lawyers' bills, as well as the increase in unpaid inheritance tax. But no, I think I should stop here. The next few words will be, I remember quite clearly the day I got a call at work from Lisa requesting a meeting with Claudia and me. I called Claudia and she too was curious. And that's enough for this time. Hope that you see me next Friday.